We're going to speak to somebody who's a pretty unique athlete. He's a generational talent. He's leading the world in this fantastic era that we've got in cycling. Please welcome Mathieu van der Poel. How's it going?
Hello.
Well, Mathieu, welcome to Koblenz.
Thank you. I finally made it.
Yeah, nice to have you here. Right then, since you signed with Canyon 6 years ago,
Yes.
can you remember how many races you've won?
Yeah, I saw it. I saw it. I didn't know, but I saw it on a paper when I came in. So
163.
yeah,
Quite a lot.
yeah, it is quite a lot. So yeah, I just take every race by itself, so I don't really keep count. But yeah, for sure, it's nice the history we already made together.
We can't go through every single one of them because we'll be here and you'll be missing the start for Edriep race on Friday. So we've decided today to focus on about 5 different magical moments from your career, if you like. There'll be more than 5, we know that, but it's difficult to pick. We've tried to pick 5. I'm going to start at home for you in the Netherlands with a big Dutch flag right across your chest. It was a perfect sunny day in Limburg.
Yeah.
And I remember being on the finish line commentating with a mutual friend of ours, Matt Stevens. Mm-hmm. Matt was laughing in the background because of what you did, because we didn't expect the finish that we had. And I just remember saying, I don't believe I've seen anything like this in my life. And I hadn't. How did you live that day? What memories do you have of that day?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, for sure it was very special because it was also my first year I did the road, and also in Tour of Flanders already with the crash.
You were quite going downhill.
And I came up 4th that year. Yeah. So I knew I was feeling good, and then Amstel was my last race actually of the year, and I was a bit too excited maybe. I started attacking alone at I think 70 or 80k to go. But that's 6 years ago, because now it's normal if you start attacking 80k to go. But then I was the only one, so I also ended up alone, which was not the best decision. And then, yeah, in the end it was super strange because it was quite a big gap, and then everything came together the last kilometer actually, and nobody wanted to really work anymore. So I just went all in, and I closed the gap myself and just started sprinting, and somehow I managed to win the race. So for sure that was a bit the breakthrough for the bigger audience.
Yeah, I think, and we'll go on to the Offroad in a while. I think all cycling fans and connoisseurs knew who you were, family ties, everything you'd done on the cross field. But for the general public audience who maybe is sitting there on the sofa on a Sunday afternoon and switches the television on, oh God, who's this Mathieu van der Poel guy? That was a bit special. You talk about sort of attacking from 80Ks to go now. Do you feel a bit of a trendsetter in that?
Yeah, I think I can say that I'm one of the first guy who started it, and now I'm not anymore. Like, for example, Worlds in Glasgow, 150k to go, they start attacking, and even I was like a bit shocked. I didn't understand, but in the end, for me, the harder the race, the better. So I'm actually quite happy we race the way we do. And you also can see if you talk to people, and everybody is really into cycling now, and they're scared to miss any attacks. Like, if you start watching 100k to go, you could have missed already a decisive move. So that's nice to hear, of course.
If you read the Belgian or Dutch press last year, they were talking, there was one word, anticiperen.
Yeah.
And they were all trying to get ahead of you. Everybody wanted to anticipate you. And that's sort of the fashion that you've set for racing now.
No, yeah, I think also early breakaway is like something that sometimes doesn't even exist anymore. It's just, we start racing from kilometer 0 and we stop after 260k sometimes. So that's quite crazy, but it makes the day go fast, and I like it.
That day in Amstel, I remember those words, and I remember you holding your head across the line like that, like almost not believing what you'd done.
No, but also, I didn't think, I was actually pulling the group because I was aiming for maybe a top 10, maybe a top 5, but then the last stretch is quite long in Amstel, and all of a sudden I saw I could still maybe win it. So also for me was, until 1k to go, I didn't know I could still win the race. So it was for me also quite difficult to believe.
That little moment of adrenaline where it felt to me like you'd just dressed in orange, scored the winning goal in the World Cup final, because the noise at the finish line was like nothing I have ever heard in my life before. Were you conscious? Could you take that in, or were you just lost in the moment?
No, I was a bit lost in the moment. Of course, I know it hurt. I went pretty deep, so I also had to lay down, and then there was just, it felt like 1,000 people standing over me. But afterwards, I saw some images of people filming on their iPhone when I crossed the line, and it's like, like you say, a football stadium exploding while scoring a winning goal. So in the moment itself, you don't really appreciate it, is maybe the wrong word, but you don't really know what's really going on. But then afterwards, if you see the images, it gives me goosebumps as well.
Where does that victory rank for you amongst the 163 that you've taken? You don't have to give me a number.
No, I mean, it's super difficult to. I get this often, this question, like, what is your most beautiful victory? But they all mean something different, of course, and some are bigger than others for sure. But I think winning in the national jersey in the only big classic race that's left in the Netherlands, and also, it was, like I said, maybe my breakthrough on the road. So for sure, that's something special. And we're sitting here and you start talking about it again. So it means it was quite a big victory.
Of course. I think it's in the minds of probably everybody here. I imagine if you followed cycling since 2019 and 5 years ago now, I can't believe it's been 5 years.
No, time goes so fast. I always felt young, but now I see guys coming into cycling, 18, 19 years old, winning immediately, and I'm 10 years older, so but I still believe I have my best years to come.
Well, I'm glad you believe that, because we're going to come back to that. You've just signed a 10-year contract. It's a good job he's feeling quite young, isn't it, still?
You want some water as well? Or
I'm all right, thank you. I'm all right. You're not working me hard enough yet, don't worry. Let's move on to the cobbles, because, of course, you're a Dutch man, French roots, born in Belgium, surrounded by cobbles.
Yeah.
FlandersRoubaix, what do they mean to you, those races?
Yeah, actually, I don't really like to ride on cobbles. There's no.
Don't say that when you go back home to Belgium.
I like to race on cobbles, but I never train on them. That's a big difference. I think in a race, it's super nice, but I actually don't know anybody who really says, and today I'm going to do some Paris-Roubaix cobble sections. Nobody enjoys this. So it's a magical moment, of course, to race there. It's something super special. It's unique. It's like, San Remo. It's places you don't come there often. So that makes it quite unique.
A colleague of mine, Sean Kelly, always says that when he ran Roubaix, it was horrible to race, and people like us sitting on my side of the chair, we romanticise about it. But he says, really, and I can't use the word he used, but it's horrible. Is that the feeling you get you only enjoy it when you've won, maybe at the end?
I think he was on the wrong bike. On a Canyon bike, it's quite enjoyable.
We'll have to have a word with him.
No, for sure. It's not that bad, actually. Last year, I didn't have any blisters, or I felt quite okay afterwards. So I think it's also... Yeah, for sure, this is, 30 years ago you're talking about. So for sure, bikes are getting better, tires are getting better. It's still not comfortable, for sure. It still is quite a job to be done, but still, it's okay. It's not that you're completely broken afterwards.
Well, that's good to know, because we're coming into the cobbled section of the season. And there's always a lot of attention around you on those races, because you're always one of the favourites for those races. I'd like to talk about your relationship with pressure, because none of us really in this room will know what you feel. It's a personal thing. Everyone's talking about you. Everyone expects performances. How do you deal with that?
Yeah, I'm quite used to it, since I have already had quite some big appointments with cycling in the past. Of course, in the beginning when I was younger, it got me nervous, but now I'm kind of used to it, and I think nobody puts more pressure on me than I do myself. I want to perform and I want to win. That's why I started racing as well. I really love to win, and I think that's also what motivates and drives me.
Do rivals motivate you, or do you just concern yourself with yourself?
Oh yeah, for sure. I'm mainly concerned for myself, and I try to be the best version of myself. But yeah, you have to win. You have to pass the rivals. So yeah, it just keeps me on my edge as well. The better they are, the better I have to be, and I think this is all that counts in sports.
There's no one particular rival who keeps you awake at night?
Yeah, I know. No, not awake. I sleep pretty well, but for sure, yeah, I have with Wout van Aert. Of course, everybody knows the history we have, but now as well, Tadej Pogačar comes to do some classic races as well sometimes, and he's also good in that. So, but like I said, it's good for me. Keeps me on my edge, and I know I have to work even harder to try and win.
Well, that relationship and rivalry with Wout van Aert started before you both guys got to the road, and that's where I'd like to go next, off-road, because I know it's something you love. It's not just about road racing, isn't it? And that's why I think we love watching you as well, because you're always entertaining, whether it's on the mountain bike or on the cross field. If you had to choose a discipline, could you?
Yeah, that's really difficult. I think, yeah, just to train, I enjoy myself the most on a mountain bike, just because you can also come to really beautiful places where you cannot go with a road bike. But for sure, for me, the most fun is to switch things, switch disciplines. It's super nice. Of course, 6 years ago when I started riding Kenyan, I was a full-time cyclocross rider, and that was the most important thing, but that changed a bit now. But I still do enjoy all different kind of disciplines.
What's your favorite place to train?
Oh, I really love Spain now, but I think one of the most beautiful places I've been on the mountain bike is still Livigno. It's there on the mountain bike, it's really maybe the best thing you can do on a bike.
Beautiful. I'd like to talk a bit more about cross, if that's okay, because 6 world titles now. There's only one more, and I know that not everybody likes talk of records. I don't know if you do or not, but I think we know that Erik de Vlaeminck is the world record holder, 7 cross world titles. You just signed a 10-year deal, which we mentioned earlier on. We're glad that you're still feeling good enough to achieve things. Is that record part of that 10-year deal? Is that something you'd like to achieve? Do you have goals?
Yeah, for sure I have goals, but it's not that I really chase this. I just, like I said, I try to be the best version of myself every year, and then hopefully the rest comes by itself. But for sure, I'm getting pretty close to doing something historical, and I think you always get remembered by those kind of things. So for sure, it will be a goal the next years to try and break the record. So
we haven't seen the last of you on the cross field?
I don't think so.
Good news.
I hope. No, I still enjoy it. It's also the discipline I started with when I was, I think I did my first race when I was 6 years old on a cyclocross bike. So it's still my first passion, but it's just my goal switched a bit to the road and to mountain bike also. But still, when I jump back on the cyclocross bike, I still enjoy it a lot.
I'm glad you talk about passion, having fun, because I think we'd like to know who the real Mathieu is away from the cross field, the mountain bike and the road. What else do you enjoy? I mean, I've seen you playing golf recently. You're into that?
Yeah, I used to be, I used to have quite some energy also next to the bike, but that's also, well, getting older, it goes down a bit as well. I train more than I used to, so since a few years now, I really enjoy golf also. It's really good to clear the mind as well, to go on the course with some friends, and I think, for me that's the most important thing, to be relaxed and just to be happy in life. I think that's also next to the bike, but also on the bike it helps you a lot to perform.
And there's no competitive instincts there. You're not going to live golf next year, are you?
No, for sure not. But I'm always competitive also in golf.
Competitivity has brought you those rainbow jerseys we talked about in the cyclocross. There's a different rainbow jersey you're wearing this year. It's on the road for the next few months, and you took it in a race that had people like me in the commentary box jumping out of our seat in Glasgow because you were riding away to victory and then you crashed on that horrible corner in Glasgow at the bottom of that hill. What was going through your head there?
Not too much actually. It's just instantly I just jumped back on the bike and hoped everything was okay, which luckily it was, and I could continue on adrenaline a bit, I think. But for sure, if I have to name one of my best victories, for sure this one has a place in the top 5.
Is that because of what you achieved or any other reason?
No, yeah, I think also the way the race developed, I think it was one of the hardest races I've ever did as well, but I felt super good that day, and I was already in the Tour, I was thinking about trying to win the World Championship. I think it's also the highest thing for me, as I'm too big to try and win a Grand Tour. I think for me it's the highest possible to achieve in road cycling, and after winning 2 monuments in a classic season already, then topping it off by becoming world champion, for sure it's a year to remember.
That the year you remember the most, or?
I hope I can do as good as I did this year, or even better. Is going to be very difficult, but for sure I will remember last year forever.
Where can we expect to see you this year then? Obviously the classics first.
Yeah, I mean, the classics are a big goal again. I did my first race this weekend, which was successful with the team, with Jasper, winning another monument for the team. So that's, it's quite exceptional. And for me, I have a bit the same races as I did last year, only I will do Amstel again and Liège also. And then in the summer, we see how the puzzle will fit. It's quite difficult with the Olympic year. Yeah. I still aim to compete in mountain bike and road, but it has to be possible to combine it as well. And I also don't want to jeopardize one or the two to do them both. I really want to be the best version of myself when I do them.
Well, I think you've been the embodiment of, if you're going to do something, do it properly in the last few years. So we'll trust you on that. In summer, and I'm glad you mentioned the summer there, and also Sanremo, because that's the fifth and final one of your magic moments, really. We've had to put them together because they're both linked to your grandfather. What you did in the Tour, that was so emotional. First, the special jerseys. Then, of course, winning the stage the way you won it. Taking the yellow jersey as well. And in Sanremo, winning 62 years after your grandfather won.
Yeah, day to day, actually.
So it was day to day.
Yeah.
Wow.
That was really special. Of course, the history we have in the Tour of Flanders as a family is also exceptional. And the only thing that was a bit off is that he wasn't there anymore to enjoy it. He would have been really proud, of course, but I think this is for sure one of the most emotional wins I've had. And also Sanremo, I think it's quite unique to achieve it 62 years after my grandfather.
A really special moment for all of us, I think, looking on, fans of cycling, whether associated with the brand or you or your team, Alpecin-Deceuninck, and that's something that most people enjoyed, whoever they were cheering for. I think it was a really special moment. So thanks for bringing us all that.
Yeah.
This weekend was different, though. You were involved. You were key to the race, I would say, finishing how it did for your team, Alpecin-Deceuninck, because I was commentating at the weekend, and there was a moment there, if you guys hesitated 2 or 3 seconds more when Pogacar was over, I guess it was finished, but you had that big explosion across the gap to mark him. And then at the bottom of the Poggio, you brought the group back for Jasper Philipsen to win. Explain to us how that unfolded on Saturday.
Yeah, I mean, it was my first race, and then starting with Sanremo, that's always a hard one. It's a long one as well, as everybody knows. But I felt, quite good. The first attack of Pogacar, I could follow quite good, but then the second one I didn't really expect it anymore.
No.
And also the other riders were a bit looking at each other, so that was quite hard to get back to the wheel. I also didn't have the legs anymore to overtake him in the descent and to work. And then coming down, I saw Jasper was coming, and that was also one of the scenarios we talked about it. If he was feeling good, I would. Yeah, everybody knows coming down from Poggio is one of the most dangerous points to lose the race, and you see it again with Mohoric. I don't think if I start pulling, it's a sprint there. So, but in the end, it remains a team sport, and like I said, I think winning Sanremo twice in 2 years is something that is really difficult to do.
Yeah, and touching on the fact that it's a team sport or an individual sport, it's difficult for people who don't maybe grow up with cycling to understand that, because there's one person who stands on the podium at the end of the day, but you're still a winner. What's the difference in the feeling of helping Jasper to winning yourself?
Yeah, winning itself is always a bit more special, I would say, but for sure, if you can help somebody achieve their dreams, it also gives a lot of joy for me, and it also makes it a bit easier if you already won the race, of course. But I think winning yourself is always the best, but you always have to overlook the situation and see what's the best option of the team as well. And I think it's proven as well that Jasper was the best option. So I think we did everything perfect.
Well, it's been pretty perfect so far. It's been a perfect day because you've just signed for 10 years.
Yeah.
Why 10 years?
Yeah, I think I've been more than 10 years in the team as well already. Like I said, 6 years on Canyon, and I love the brand. I don't know. I think I'm more proud to be an ambassador than the other way around. Maybe it's really cool to be connected with a brand like this, and I think being on for me the best bike is also something is quite important, and I'm really looking forward to another 10 years and hopefully some nice victories.
Well, you've been part of a generation. You've been leading a generation, I think we'd all agree, that has changed cycling. You mentioned the early attacking. The entertainment, certainly for people like me who have to sit and watch and try and talk about it all day long, you make our jobs a lot easier. I mean, being part of this generation, is entertaining as important as winning? That's a difficult one. I think I lost some races, maybe being too entertaining. And in the end, after 10 years when you stop cycling, nobody will look at the entertaining races you did. They will look at the races you've won. And I think I made that switch maybe 2-3 years ago, that I really don't want to look back at missed opportunities. And the thing is, it is still entertaining because everybody joins the party now at 100k to go, but I'm not alone anymore. And no, like I said, I think I know that winning big races is the most important thing, and it's more important than trying to do something stupid in a race. Well, I really look forward to watching you continue to entertain us. I'll tell you what, entertainment palmarès, the palmarès is not bad, is it? 163 victories so far with Canyon. Here's to many more. Let's enjoy the generational talent while he's still with us and racing. Mathieu van der Poel, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you.